right. Welcome to One Page Story Extravaganza Livestream with Run Z Man. I write and illustrate a one-page story every day based on ideas that come from viewers like you. Maybe today will be your idea. Hiya, how are ya? I'm gonna move the camera for just a second here because I brought my bodyguard. Corbin. Say hi. Say hi, folks. How you doing? Name's Corbin. Yeah, as unimpressed with that as anybody else might be. Okay, so, welcome to Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday. And I've done a silly thing this weekend. On Friday, we went to Toronto, myself and good friend Tim. Tim Fraser, now London region, you and I, good real estate agent. Where's the guy? Linda says, hi Corbin and Christopher, what do you get for spelling? Hi Linda and Tim. So we went to Toronto for a comic convention that they have there, the Fan Expo. Now, it's the largest in this, at least this part of Canada. I don't know how big it is in Vancouver, but it's huge. Anyways, if you can imagine, it's about 3 of the average size convention centers in a big city, like in a mid-sized city. It's three times that. So a lot of walking and up escalators and down hallways and anyways. So it's about 3 hours from London, but with traffic and insane gas stations, we ended up going for I think it was 8 hours of driving for 2 hours of fun. But we had a lot of fun, and that's what counts. Anyhow, while I was in the car, I drew a couple of comics. The first one is Road to Toronto. I was thinking of the Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Dorothy Lamour movies that I loved watching when I was a kid. For whatever reason, I just dialed into these black and whites on Saturday afternoon. We could get a channel called 43 out of Erie, Pennsylvania, and it had Superhost, the host of the most. And so he played these old black and whites and kung fu movies and all kinds of fun stuff. But I got to watch all the Road to Rio and all the other the films with Bing Crosby and Bob Hope and Dorothy Lamour. And they're just good, silly fun about these two guys on the road traveling from one adventure to the next. And they're always competing to try to win the attention of this lady. And I think it's in like the last film, and they did like between, 5, 9 films, something. I think it's in the last film where she finally just says, boys, it's never going to happen. And they're both, but there's all kinds of metatextual humor. They constantly break the fourth wall. Like Hope is constantly looking at the camera going, and he gets top billy, and going on like this. So fun. So I did these 2 pages, the one from Friday of us going to Toronto and all the adventure that was, and then I followed that up releasing. So that was released yesterday, and then today I released the Road to London, which is the sequel or the second one, and so these are done traditionally as a flip zine, like there's a zine swap that happens each year in this larger art community, and so I did those like zines, and so I just had them folded up in little zines, and I'm just drawing in these little small sections, and Corbin is just standing right here, just standing here. Have you noticed me? Anyhow, so just climb over everything, please. So yeah, so I drew those while on the road, and Tim did all the driving. So this was fun to do. The red one is actually drawn in green. I don't know why I switched it to the color red. I just did. But they're on mixed media surfaces, so they're on graph paper that I did slap and drag. I think I did that last Thursday. Slap and drag on them with red or with yeah, red ink. And so, this is the result. A lot of fun. These are a lot of fun. It's what's really silly is that I don't actually get back to London in the second one. I mean, in the first one, we get to the convention, which is the whole point of going to Toronto. And in the sequel, I have us leaving it and coming back to, we already left it and coming back to London. So the whole point of going to Toronto isn't included in these two strips. More so than, hey, we did this, it was fun. So perhaps I can do a, convention bound or something like that. Like it's kind of the journey more so than it is the destination with those films, I think. So I don't know, but I got a couple more of these coming up of Lori and I going up north, and for our little getaway that we had recently, where we went up north of Toronto the weekend before. I went up to Toronto again, and it was fun. So there's lots of fun adventures that were had there. Anyhow, that's the 2 pages. I got some fun in the Sun information. I'm just going to post it up for you. I'll be putting this out for all the children to make them laugh. But so my next thing that I'll be at is the big London Comic Con is coming up. And I'm a featured guest this year of that I'll be doing signings with the book. And for those that are there, there's one more piece of information I wanted to hand out, and that is this really exciting. Yeah, take a look. Nope, that's the wrong page. Couldn't help myself. Sorry. Get a little Jeff Goldblum in there. I did a page recently from suggestions from everybody. Stop biting that. And it doesn't help me. It was an X page, and the whole reason I'm doing the X page is that in Alphabet Book, for those that picked up a copy, and we've got this going on. Okay? So that is, if you buy or plan to buy Alphabet Book, the X page is now available on my Patreon. So if you just look up the post for the X page from when we did that, okay, there's a little upload. There's a little downloadable file included in that, so that you can download it yourself, print it out on your computer, and the scale of it should be the right size that it will actually. You'll have to trim your 8.5 11 page, but the image should print to be the right size that you can just insert it into your Alphabet Book. So that was a lot of fun to do that with people, and so if you're interested in that, feel free to do so. We'll be doing posting this promo and getting that out there later on, but I just wanted to get that across to people. But those that do come to the con, we will have copies of the X page there in the books that we're selling, and I'll be doing, for those that are interested, I'll be doing 2 one-page live drawing sessions at the con. Now, it's Saturday at 2:30 and Sunday at 2. I believe I have those times right. I think I do. Well, let me check. Yeah, 2:30 and 2, and let's see, what's it say? Yeah, Saturday 2:30 and Sunday at 2 o'clock. I will be streaming there, and working with whoever in the audience at the convention is making suggestions, and then we'll have that available to post up on social media as well. So I just thought I'd start letting people know about these things now. But there's today's page, and then the previous page, which is part 1 for today's part 2. We're on the road to Toronto. We're on the way back to London. So there's a lot of running around in my house right now. A couple of my grandkids have stopped by to visit, and they're up there. They're supposed to be watching television. Yeah, they're with their mom. So, okay. Corbin is beside me in the studio. I'm going to move this again. This is my helper here. Say hi, buddy. How you doing? Anything you want to tell people? No. You're not going to bite that again, are you? This is the level of excitement that my day includes everybody. So, okay, I can go to the book. Let me first switch up the old Kamarooski, which Corbin has told me repeatedly that he doesn't like me calling it that. So, I'm going to we're going to put together some image here and work up a page from a suggestion. Let's see what we got in the book. But the suggestion for the last 2 pages was road trip. Do comics of our road trip, and so okay, I did. But part of my yawning. Oh, we got some fun ones here that I think I'm going to try this week. There's a Made in Canada one I think I'll do this week, and Time Paradox, a Dream or a Nightmare. Name for Grandpa, something picked up from vendors, strawberries. Linda's got one here. Wonder Woman, 3 kids nearby, an exploding planet. Okay dokie. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that for our one page today. Why not? Yeah, I really don't generally draw licensed characters, but we're going to see if we can work our way around that. Why not, right? You'll get the gist of it, that's who it is. Just trying to sort out the thing here. The best Wonder Woman I can think of is Linda Carter, of course, from my youth. Linda says I can substitute anyone. All right, that's Wonder Linda. So let me type in today's suggestion, and today's suggestion comes from Linda, and that is Wonder Woman. Better put the capitals on that woman. And that's from Linda. Well, hopefully my typing is better than my reading things. All right, so there's our suggestion for today. So what I've got here is I save bags when you go to the grocery store. I save those bags. I don't know why. There's a nice texture to that craft paper that I like. I've also got, and I'm going to do a page this week, I bought a big roll of paper when we were painter's paper. And I'm going to do a big long drawing on that, I think, at some point. It's fun to draw on paper like that. And a lot of times we consider things like, how am I going to, work on a large project that I don't have the room for. And so I just wanted to show this. When you go to a paint shop, you can find something like this. It's a big tube of paper. This is all wrapped up paper, and it out it rolls, right? Corbin's ready to bite it, and so the whole idea of this is, if you have like a little table that you work at, like a little folding table or something, and because you have a limited amount of space, this is where this comes in to be really awesome. Okay, what you can do is you can start your drawing at the beginning of it. You might want to have a nice clean cut edge if that matters to you or not. And as you do your drawing, you can just start to roll it out, and to roll it out, and to roll it out. And so the fun part of that is, eventually you'll start rolling it out at the bottom part as well. And you'll have 2 rolls that you just have to then open up and continue with this business. But you can work in a limited amount of space and do a 4-foot long drawing, a 6-foot long drawing. And you could do all kinds of modification to that surface of that. The only thing you have to keep in mind is the length of the page. It still either needs the ability to roll up as it goes that way, or you have to have the affordance of space to accommodate this long length of paper just flopped out in your room. For anybody that has cats, Corbin, that might not work because this is something that I will attack. Anyhow, usually these are $5 to $10 Canadian. I think it's about a nickel American. So, but yeah, I enjoy working on craft papers and things like that. So this is pretty similar, just slightly more thick than that. But it's got this fun bead in the center from where the papers overlap, right? And they're glued together so it makes a stronger bag for you. And we're going to work with that. That's fine for us. We're okay with that. So, let's do our story. So we've got Wonder Woman, 3 kids, and a nearby exploding planet. Corbin, any thoughts? No thoughts. Looks over me like, what? So great. Well, that's very nice, Yolanda. Get your alphabet book here. That's very cool of you to put that up there. I appreciate that. So we're gonna do our page, and then from here we'll figure out whatever's next. We'll start with our first panel, and I think I'm gonna do an action pose. Some kind of really zoomed in image here. Now I've got some just a plain flat piece of white and black underneath, and a bunch of other surfaces that I'll be using this week. But in the interim, let's get crack-a-lackin' and start to put Wonder Woman in. So I'll put the zoom camera in. Boink. There we go. It's kind of fun having Corbin is back into his I'm going to jump on the desk and sit with you on your desk all day long and knock all your stuff off. So this is what made me start thinking about how do you work with a finite amount of space because somebody's taken up half your desktop. Again, I get a look of dissatisfaction from him. Your stuff is taking up half of my desktop. So I'm just gonna begin our first image of Wonder Woman doing one of her fancy poses. Now my intention with this is I'm just laying this image out in pencil on this craft paper, but what I've got is a bunch of chalk markers, and we're going to color it with these huge suckers. So we'll see how this goes. Now I've done a couple of other images with these, and it works great as long as you fix them afterwards. They're an inexpensive thing you can get at places like the dollar store, but you really do have to affix those images or smudge city. Another thing that motivates Corbin to hang out in the studio is visiting young people. He's got his 2 go-to places. One is the windowsill, I'm too high, and the other is sitting directly beside me, so that he can feel he's part of the adventure. So I'm just putting our character in. I'm going to drop my jacket in a minute, just because it has warmed up substantially. I'm not one for heat. I'm a winter guy through and through. So I'm just, using... So here's the thing. Okay, now, drawing Wonder Woman, she's a Greek goddess, right? And there are all kinds of lovely Greek ladies and gentlemen, but there's a certain type of facial feature of many of the people that I know that are from that part of the world, and they have prominent noses, and it's not a thing to say, oh, they got big noses. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a prominent feature, and they never draw Wonder Woman that way. There's one or two artists that I'm aware of that do, and I really enjoy that they draw her with very traditional Greek statuesque features, and I think that's important. There's a couple of these people that dress up in the cosplay. There's one lady, and she's very strong Greek features. Apparently, she's a Greek model, but I think in my head, she is the most definitive look for Wonder Woman. Just, because she's not, I want to say anglicized, but I don't think that's correct. She's not North Americanized, I think is what I'm looking for here. So we're going to put, there's a couple of characters like that. There's another one from Marvel Comics, and they have a character named Elektra. And again, a Greek character. Absolutely nothing wrong with celebrating that culture fully. Wonder Woman doesn't look like that. Wonder Woman isn't real. I just think that if you're going to have a character that's rooted in this sensibility in the character's generation, lean into it, celebrate it. Okay, so I'm getting carried away with my penciling. I didn't necessarily want to do that. I just want to say I started filling in all the hair. I just want to get the image down so that I can get on with the coloring. And who doesn't love coloring? I put up a time lapse today of one of the postcards that I did during the postcard challenge of July. I've got a couple more time lapses that'll be going up. I've been doing so we're a whole rebranding here of the YouTube and everything else. I've done some tutorials that I've posted. They're just segments of longer live streams, but there's some focusing on something and talking about a particular aspect of storytelling, and in the generation of a page. So some people might find that of help, of interest. There's some slideshows we've got up, a bunch of read-alongs with one-page stories that we've done, but I'm doing the voices for them and reading them along panel by panel. So, for the kids back home. So I'm just going to do her wild, crazy mane here. Curly hair. Is my sword facing the right direction? Mayhap no. Okay, so if anybody has any one-page story suggestions that they want to throw at me, let me know, and we'll get those written down and added to the book, and then that way we can finish those off. I now have 2 is done. We're just about to put it in for submission to get the proof from, hopefully in time for the con, but so I have that on the table to show people as well. And then I have enough pages to do 3 more as of present. So we'll be start putting together number 3, but that won't be released until the spring. What's coming up next, and that we're putting together now, is for Christmas, and that's Stream of Conceitedness. So that'll be a complete one-page story. So I hope folks like it, and if you don't, that's okay. My mom thinks I'm a very special dancer. I'm just joking. She thinks I'm a fantastic swimmer. So here's my One Woman. Hey Corbin, you love that song, don't you? Alright, so we've got this roughly penciled in here. So let's go ahead. These are the chalk markers that I've told you about. So we're going to put... we're going to color our image in with these. Now I've done a couple of different things with chalk markers before. There we go. Man, they're really easy to go. But they're so bright and vibrant, these, and I especially like to work on them on this surface, largely because of the luminosity, because it's a contrast to the base color of the paper itself. So, Yahoo! Linda says, that sounds like fun. Nice. There we go. All right. Trick is really not to smudge these too much, though. So here's our Wonder Woman character coming in. We're coloring her kit here. Right, bud? Corbin is in a refined sitting pose at the moment. There we go. You shake these like regular paint markers. The difference is that again, the viscosity is very different of the chalk markers in relationship to the paint markers. I find that there's something about the colors of them. There's a vibrancy to them, as well as how they handle on the paper. It's kind of interesting. There we go. Now we're cooking with the gasoline. There's far more viscosity in them, I find. So yeah, I think it's turning out okay. I really enjoy working like this. There's something fun about coloring this way, you know, that I wouldn't have expected to be as dialed in as I get with these. Yes, sir. We need Corbin, I believe, is intended to come and sit on the drawing. But you can't. Get your own drawing to sit on, Jack. So this is a gray that I'm using now. Just putting down some base values first and foremost, and then we'll come in and we'll add a little more tone and depth to our image overall. And this young lady looks ill-tempered. So then you gotta be careful with these chalk markers as well, because
So you can smudge your own image right across your paper, and nobody wants to do that. She's starting to look like Wonder Woman now. Wonder Woman! Soft pat, you can't see it, but Corbin is dancing to that whenever I sing it. He just starts dancing. Spinning around the room, pirouettes. 70s dance moves. Heather and Young. There we go. Do your job, paint. So I'm turning the brush to its tip as I'm working along some of these areas. The broad chisel point of it I'll use for those larger areas, but when I gotta come in these nice smaller lines, I'll lean more into that little chisel tip. Chisel tip. Let's see. So that sounds like fun. So we're on 230 some odd for our pages for this year so far. Thank you everybody that's been giving us suggestions of ideas and things, things that they think I should do a story about, or having a lot of fun. This is we figured it out last week. No, 2 weeks ago. A little holiday there. Last 2 years I've done 700 pages. Relating specifically to this. That's fun. Some of them are multi-page stories. But for the most part, there's their single-page stories. That's all I'm talking. I'm not referring to the stories I've drawn, like the books I've drawn for others and that. I can't count that high. All right, so I've got this brown now. There we go. Oh, my grandsons might be coming down. I can hear them and they go, no! Don't go downstairs. They would like to. It's just putting some highlight points in the face here. And come back in with that's Wago. Wago. That's way too big, Will, that pen color, or that pink color. Oh yeah, now we're cooking with the gasoline. I want to find in between an intermediate value as I'm detailing this character. I want to highlight some parts of their outfit, but not too high in contrast. So yeah, so it's going to be a good I'm really looking forward to this upcoming convention. See, I've made a smudge out of that face. Poor gal. She didn't do nothing. Face all smudged up like that. Okay, I'm going to come in now with the white. I'll poke some noodles here and there. It's an official scientific term, poke some noodles. There we go. So the kids, grandkids came by to play. We have a swing set in our backyard. And so they came by to use the swings. Come over to the house here. Had a little lunch together. That was nice. Linda says she's looking serious. Oh, you betcha. Lisbon says, how do you keep white marker white? Well, I think that there's a couple of ways you can go about it. If while you're coloring things, so if you're coloring on top of another value, make sure that value is dry first. And then if you start picking up pigment from the other colors, have a cloth nearby. That's what my hand keeps going offside to do. Oh, and welcome aboard, Liz, by the way, sorry. And dab it out on there. Just so that you clear off whatever that excess other pigment is that started collecting onto your marker. Now, Corbin's going to go up and investigate what's going on. It's too noisy up there. It also is important to how you use your markers. Like sometimes people, press really hard on their markers, and you're guaranteed to scar that marker to pick up that other pigment. You're just guaranteed if you're going to be pressing really, really strongly down onto the surface, you will pick up other pigments and the like. So don't do that. But for the most part, your pigment should hold its form. I got a piece of something or nothing. Hair or something. Probably Corbin's. Tip of mine marker. There we go. What I really should have done was some color around it. Liz says, yep, pressing too hard is my problem. The ink's going to come out, It kind of wants to. This is my purpose, let me out of here. So you don't necessarily need to press too hard, and if you're pressing too hard because that's the only way you're going to get color out of the tool's done. Like it's not. And then allow yourself the opportunity to use other things, like China markers are great on some surfaces for making white marks. They're very granular, bear in mind, so that it's a little, it can feel like a bit like a crayon mark or something like that, but you can utilize that to your own benefit in your compositions. Pencil crayon, great. Laurentian are the best for being able to hold this nice creamy line on so many different surfaces that other pencil crayons cannot. And the Faber-Castell ones, they're not too bad, but Reigning Champion are Laurentians. So we're just putting, the reason I chose this green background is the red that's in her flesh tone as well as her outfit. And putting the green in the image will separate the foreground from the background. The foreground character is of course her, Our background is green. So here's our Wonder Woman character. Is my camera tilted this whole time? No, it's alright. What are you doing? You want to sit on your bench over here? Yeah, buddy. What kind of marker is that? So these are what are called Chalkolas. They're chalk markers. And they have a chalk-like, a liquid chalk consistency. If you're doing a large chalk drawing, you can actually use these in it. And they work fairly well. But this is chalk markers. They're really inexpensive by Chalkola. And they're related somehow to the company that makes Poscas, I believe. I think these are the ones that I looked into, and it turned out that they're produced by the guys that do Posca pens, paint markers. So because I've let this dry, I'm coming back in and doing these little punches of white in these certain spots. Sometimes you have to build up that white area by little mark, letting it dry, come back in, little mark on top of that. And eventually you'll get your highlight areas that come out of that. They have a nice range of colors. They're pretty nice. Here's some more. And broad in their colors, so I like them. So okay, so we've got our Wonder Woman, stay by me, kids, and blah 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 blah. For our first panel, I think that we got to get these little kids in our foreground. I think is the next objective in our page. So I'm going to do this sort of open format. I'm not going to be overly concerned right now about panels. So what I think I'll do for this one is that I'm going to have Wonder Woman in the foreground right here. She's going to just sort of here's our first shot of her in her first opening statement in our first panel. Oh, let me pull back on the zoom. So there she is in her first, or making her first statement in that first panel. And then we're going to pull out to her standing here with the two little kids behind her. Because the suggestion was from Linda R. It's Wonder Woman 3, it's 3 kids, not 2. Wonder Woman 3 kids in a nearby exploding planet. Okie dokie. So it's time to draw Wonder Woman. So we've got to make sure a few things are consistent. One is the hand that she's holding her pointy jabber thing in has to be the same hand that she's holding it in her first image, and that will really help us to have some consistency in our image. And so you can just imagine and if you do keep that hand, that tool, that in this case a sword, in the same hand, and our first panel is like this, and then the next panel is like this. If you've ever seen anybody ever do this with the sword, there's a kind of subconscious thing that you inform yourself of that movement on the page, even though we've just drawn her in 2 different positions, but optimally you should be able to look at that and go, she was A, now she's B. Yes, sir. Corbin's just checking in on me. Okay, come on. You coming? Nope, just harassing me. Harassment, folks. Plain and simple. Okay, so I'm going to draw, checking that time. Yeah, I think one of the grandkids is here. So you see the fold in the paper now? That's fine, we're going to work with it. I don't have any preconceived notion or concern about the surface that I work on when I'm drawing images, because I'm just going to work on top of them and just lay that image down. So I never worry about that too much. And it also assists me in that I don't want to have any anxiety about drawing on a piece of paper. So if I don't have to worry about that because the paper has already got some weird things like this to it, I don't, it doesn't affect me that way. So we'll put her crazy hair here. So I'm just laying in the whole of the image before I focus too much on details. And I'm using that by laying in these shapes like I've shown here on the stream before. I tend to just draw, what I call tractoring is where I just start at the top and work my way, or start at the side and work my way across, or start in the middle and work out. But I'm going to try to be a little more fair and show some structure as I'm doing pages, so that it assists people in their drawing journey, instead of seeing somebody who starts at, this far in the journey and expects you to understand how I got there. That's not fair. I want you to be able to figure out how to draw this stuff too, if you haven't, given yourself the opportunity to do so. So, yeah, I'm going to switch things up just a tiny bit so I don't get sued. It kind of makes me look crazy when independent artists do drawings of licensed characters. When they're not being paid to do it, or rather, they're not promoting the things that they themselves have made. They're not standing by their own individual creativity. So I tend not to draw a lot of licensed characters, but when I do them, I'm going to switch them up so it's not necessarily that character. Because I'm a giant fuss bag. What? Chris, you are? It's very nice of you. It's 2 seconds away from taking a jacket. So follow that same line. If you're drawing your sword, follow that line right across through the hilt. It should match. Unless it's a really bendy sword. Oh, pardon me. Goodness gracious. So now we'll start throwing in some of these details in relationship to the previous image that we've done. Do you have a woman character that you use of your own? Like a model, do you mean? Or is there a character that I've created for stories? A number of them. I think that there was almost at least a half dozen female characters in the Elmwood series that I did. And that'll be coming out in summer next year. Elmwood, The Last Battle, it's called. It'll be another 80-page story, just like Streaming Conceitedness is. But Elmwood has a whole bunch of different characters that are female. Some of them are tough gals, and some of them are thinking gals, and a bunch of people trying to do good in a city that is very compromised. Okay, so I'm just trying to put down all these key pieces of information, and I'm taking out, so some of these construction lines don't need to be here, so I'll remove those. But I want to show that there's some strength in their arm, but I don't want to draw all kinds of crazy superhero bulbous arm muscles. But yeah, I have a character called Godiva. She's a synthetic lady that somebody made in a lab. But she decided that, you got life, get to living. So she decided not to stick around one day and left. And coincidentally talked to a tree. And then there's Katerina DeSayer is in that same book, and she's rides a motorcycle, and she has a gigantic gun that she goes up on rooftops with. She's not very nice. And there's a character named Valak. That's her last name. She has the wind. She can control the wind. Not just say that she has the wind, because that means a whole different thing entirely. Whew! Act jokes dunk. Yeah. Okay, so just putting down some of these little bits of detail here. Giving a little bit of form to the skirt instead of just having it, just be some straight, dead lines. We want to have some organic movement to that, so. There's an interesting thing about Amazonian ideas. Historically, they were possibly based on Sabatian women, or Samatian women, which is a part of the rural steppes, like the Ukraine area, I guess it would be. Is this real life? Is this really happening? Hi, everybody. Hi, Jim. Okay, so let's be a little more creative with our lines for this gal's hair. Welcome aboard, everybody that's joined in. So the suggestion for today is Wonder Woman, 3 kids, and a nearby exploding planet. Alright, so there we go. So I've got these color chalk markers, and I'm using these to paint in over top of this craft paper. I think it's working out okay. Sometimes you want to let that base color peek through, right? Right! There's all kinds of different materials that you can use for, creating whatever your stories are. Don't feel locked in that you have to work very traditionally, akin to how some of the mainstream publishers like their work. Experiment, have fun, find your own voice. Don't worry about that. Liz says, I don't have sound. Is it me? My mic is saying it's going strong here. I hope everybody can hear that can hear. So just to let people know again, Saturday the 14th at 2:30 and Sunday the 15th at 2, I'll be streaming live, drawing one-page stories live on the floor of a comic convention. And there's a 75-inch big screen TV that's going to be behind me while I'm doing it. So I don't have to have everybody standing over top me, breathing at me. Breathing. Oh, I better write this down. Jim's got a one-page suggestion. Where's the book? So that's a long one. Hold on a second. Fluffy. Kittens Rainbow, Gumdrops, Candy Castle, and Norwegian death metal. Norwegian death metal. Metal, death metal. There we go. Chris, you have sound. It's just very low. Oh, okay. Well, is that better? Yeah. I've probably moved the mic too far away from myself, and I'm not speaking up enough. Speak it up, Jack. So I'm going to put these base colors in again, like I did in the first panel. People have been focusing on chickens. How about a chicken villain? Like a chickavilla? You say chicken villa. I imagine a bunch of people in England going over to mainland Europe for holidays and coming across an entire village of chickens. Chicken villain. Fantastic. See, I got a crazy weird brain. I'm a little bent. Sorry, Liz, that was for you. Thank you for that suggestion. So I'm just letting some of these lines that I've drawn in for some shadowed areas peek through. I'm just utilizing the basic color of what I'm drawing the composition in with, the green, and then of course the paper itself. Noisy box. So I'm drawing over top of this fold, ignoring the fold. I might go underneath it just to extend the colors in case it gets whatever marred or popped up. And we'll come back in a couple times and peek some nice reflections and enhancements out of there. See, I'm going back in and putting a couple more pinches of white in there. Okay. People, yeah, the chicken villain one's great. I like that. Thank you very much, Liz. Someone says, hey, what do you feel like for dinner tonight? Chick-fil-A. And the other person goes, oh, no. What seems to be the problem with that, Rodrigo? My entire family is chased across the countryside by a Chick-fil-A. Don't you mean a chicken? I wish I meant a chicken. See? That's what you mean. I'll come back in a second and give a little more form to this area here. There we go. Jim and Liz, both are cool suggestions, says Linda. Thanks, Linda. I think they have given us some great suggestions to work from today. So I gotta let this blue dry before I start putting this light blue in. But in the meantime, see some of this yellow reflecting that I did. Fun to catch alive. Someone was crazy busy. Welcome back, Candy. I understand that. I think Candy, are you one of these people that went out and got some cottage time in there? A lot of people are, always running around. What? Always. Yeah, come on up. Oh, he's a fussy boy. So, a lot of people were spending time getting out the cottages and trailers and summer campgrounds and holes in the dirt, or whatever your chosen breakaway holiday is. Let me move this over here. So I'm going to put some more reflections in here, and I'm dabbing it out with my finger like this to just cut down that the opacity of the yellow, and a nice little blend value in there that way. And I'll come back over it again with another hit, and I get a more resonant value, and then if I put some more yellow on top of that, then it becomes more opaque, and what you get is a nice build up for of tone, so that it looks more like a reflection. You can't see it, but I'm trying to draw with a cat licking my arm. Weirdo. I'll give you one guess who that is. Candy says, I wish I had a special needs son. I have a special needs son, so summer is busy entertaining him until school starts again. Did visit a friend's lake house over the weekend without kids. Oh, nice. Parent breakaway. Look out. Yeah, we did that last weekend, not or the weekend before the one we just had. We managed to get up to a cottage there. Enjoyed ourselves immensely. Immensely. Good for you. Those mental health moments are really important. We had John over on the weekend. That kept me pretty occupied. For those that don't know, John Jr., my brother-in-law, he lives at a home, a group home for other people that are deaf and blind, and so John spent the weekend with me and helped me sand my deck. We sanded and stained the deck together. We had a lot of fun hanging out. So now I'm putting some more colors in this skirt here. Just getting a little more form. And then I'm gonna, got color building up on the tips of my fingers. So I got this brown. Which one am I gonna use? Let's use this one. So you can also use a Q-tip doing this, by the way, with chalk markers. Q-tip's another good way to go about diffusing a color, but I don't mind getting dirty. You know, it's I'm sure it's a consternation for Lori. We're going out someplace. Christopher, wash your hands. But she loves me. Because I'm large, I'm strong. Oh no, that's a different song. Okay. So we're gonna put this yellow headband in here. I hear cartoons upstairs according to you. This is an orange. Just doing some of those color shifts, just building that up a little bit more. I know my job is serving ice cream with my stained fingertips. Is she a redhead? No, she's gonna have black hair. Just a sec. Those redheads. Oh, no, it's just color of hair doesn't define a person. I hope not. Especially if you're less hair than you used to have. It's fine, I'm fine, it's okay. Cat keeps smacking my arm. If he keeps it up, I'll show you guys what he's doing. You guys can all give him trouble. Before he hits you with the cuteness eyes. So yeah, so that's two more zines now that I've done from the 2 in the last 2 days, which puts us to 12 zines in a year. Well, 2 weeks really, but just because I do them one after the other. So when that deep value comes in, it just makes everything pop even more, I find. The trick is when building up a composition is kind of knowing where you're going with your composition. Keep it up. I'm arguing with Corbin. That's it, I'm telling you. Here we go. See this? You see what I'm dealing with right here? See this guy?
Everybody can see you right now. Back off.
Alright. I'll put the camera on you, you're more interesting. Stop hitting me. Nick Corbin is a troublemaker. So normally I do a stream with John when he's down, but we just had a busy weekend. But next weekend we're going to do his mom's deck, and then I might do something with him then. Sneak Attack, that's him. I have a special need kid too, Candy. He's an adult now, lives in a group home, enjoys life. Excellent. Excellent. Yep. I'm a firm proponent of... I forgot the color her forearm. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Somebody should write a song about that. It's not easy. I mean, that's one of the most challenging things in parenting, is when you got a couple extra challenges with family. People that don't have those situations will never really understand them. They can do their best to have empathy about it, but it's a blessing. Those kids have parents that really do love them. Almost there. Okay, so here's our basics for Wonder Woman. Yeah, Candy says, I love seeing a little catitude. Do I make stencils of my designs? How do you mean? Not to sound too thick in the head, but of the drawings that I do? Is that what you mean? Or specific drawings that I do? The easy answer is I don't make stencils. But, well, I that's not true. Complete a hocus pocus there. I do make stencils, but I tend to just draw on the stencil, and I've got trees, I've got birds, and Kenny says, we're just starting to see there non-purple seizures were in Illinois. Not a lot of good options. Yeah, it's a few more years of high school. Super. It's challenging. It really is challenging. One of our kids got diagnosed, and I'd been single dad in it for a little while, and then I met Lori, my ex was firmly against diagnosis for. There's nothing wrong with the kids, and like some people think a diagnosis means something's wrong, as opposed to equipping us to do a little more right by them. And so my son, by the time he got diagnosed as being high-functioning autistic, he just turned 18, and all the programs, the majority of the programs, let's say 85% of them, they age out at 18. And it's like, but that's okay. Oh wow, Kenny says we have two. RTS, and oh my gosh. Good for you. Your kids and loving them. They don't give each other kudos enough for that. What's worse is when you explain to somebody, oh, my young people have this challenge, and somebody else goes, yeah, of course I had a brother who couldn't count past 10. Why is that? Because he was a moron. You're like, oh, you were the worst person on earth. But you always run across those folks. Ugh. Okay, so I'm putting in a couple little highlights here on this gal, and then we'll come back in with the pink again and mute some of that back. Because right now it's really intense. But I just want to give a little more depth to her face there. Our oldest just came out a grumpy man. Yeah, I think I was born a grumpy old man. All my pictures of me as a kid that I've seen, I have my hands in my pockets and I'm looking down at the ground. Keep looking at Candy. It's good advice, then. Okay. Neat ministry call. Mosaic. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, Mosaic Church here in London. That one of our daughters attends. So some more slideshows are coming up on the YouTube channel. I've got a slideshow of my Sunday drawings. I'm gonna, if this isn't for you, I appreciate that and I understand that. But this is where Lori and I go on Sundays, and I tend to draw while that sermon's going on, and just I'm listening. But so all of these drawings that I do during the sermon on Sundays is we're going to collect those into a slideshow and put those on YouTube, just like we've done with the Sasquatch drawings. Completely unrelated, the Sasquatch drawings and the postcard drawings, all the postcard pictures that I did. Oh, and there's the exception to the rule. For those that are just joining in, if you bought or plan to buy Alphabet Book, the X page that we did here on the stream last week is available on Patreon. If you go to my Patreon page and look for the X page, the X Factor, you'll see there's a download on there, and so you can print it out yourself. And you have to do a little bit of trimming to make it the same size as the pages in your book, because they're 6 1/4 by 9 1/4. But it's all measured to size to print and fit right in there, like that. And if you're coming to the con that I'm going to be at in 13th and 14th, no, I'm sorry, the 14th and 15th of September, I'll be doing live streams, one-pagers there, and interviewing some people and introducing some people, and signing books. We'll have copies of one-page Extravaganza 1, an alphabet book, and then we'll have a promo copy of One Page Extravaganza 2 just before it goes out on Amazon. Woohoo! Alright, let's get back to it. Candy says, what size is your papier? This one is 8.5 by 11. The other sheet that I showed, the other paper that I showed earlier, the roll, is also 11. Or no, I'm sorry, it's 12. It's a foot. This roll of paper I talked about earlier. For those of you that weren't here, if you're having to work, you want to work on a long drawing in a limited amount of space, get a roll of paper. And what you can do is just roll it out as you're drawing on it, and you're rolling it along, and eventually you'll start rolling it up on the other end. But you can do 4 foot, 6 foot, 23 foot drawings that are a foot tall, unless you attach sheets and sheets together. Okay, so we got our first panel, and it blends into our second one. So let's do this. We'll put continue that value in the first panel in behind her into this one. And now what I'm going to draw behind this wonderful woman is 3 kids. The Bambinos. 3 Bambinos. I did a I did a read along on the YouTube channel of what the one-page story I did called Big Smiles. Somebody suggested do a page about vampires giving dental advice, and so I did. And so I did a read along of that, and Lori sent it to her dentist. Hey, you're a dentist? You like teeth? Here's a funny page about vampires and teeth. You know, as one would do. So, yeah. So there you go. Even dentists like vampires. Maybe not. How come in vampire movies and stuff we see where the whole world has been turned into vampires, you never see any of them visiting a dentist? Just a thought. Just a happy thought. Okay, so here's we're gonna draw our kids here. So she's standing in front, saying, "Stand behind us to me, thou children." And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a little guy here. Okay, and I'll put a fun little hat on him. And then we'll put a little girl as well. Put 3 kids. We got to do 3 kids. That was the suggestion. Today's suggestion came from Linda, and that is Wonder Woman, 3 kids, a nearby exploding planet. So sometimes, depending on what you're working on, like I'll move this for a second. So these papers that are underneath the one that I'm working on right now are 11 by 17, and so I'll do the same with 11 by 17 pages where I'll modify the surfaces. This is some slap and drag I've done on all these different surfaces. There's some mixed media application here. This is an onion bag that's latticed into the page, and some pre-lined paper, and just straight on white pages. So I'll either work 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17. And the reason that I work basically these sizes is because you can scale them for the size of pages that as I publish them. And so I'll get Corbin. Can I lean over there? After my hand isn't helping. It's a weird today. It's a weird guy. So I can scale the pages and so that they'll fit in these books, like so, right? And so that works out pretty well okay. if I just try to, whatever size I'm doing, have it relative to the scale of this. So like this drawing here can be put into a landscape format page, like we've got in the one-page book. So, and that's where you'll see all of these types of images. Yeah. All of that stuff's available on Amazon. Available at all wall block locations. Yeah. Curtis, like, nobody gets that joke. Nobody gets that joke, Jack. So I'm putting our first little kid here. I'll put the zoom on so you can see what I'm scribbling. There it is. So here's our little guy. He's looking from behind her, a little bit of trepidation in his face. And then give her a little structure. Just thinking about where he sits relative in space to behind her figure here, and we'll put his hand. I don't want to leave hands to be too much of a mystery when you got one character in front of another. I always try to put a hand through there. Digital downloads. So if you go on Instagram or Facebook, you can find different pages that I've done. Or Patreon has the original art as well. And if you go on Amazon, you can just you can find the books on my Amazon author page. So here's our next little one, right behind her. I'll give this girl pigtails. Little round heads on kids. Oh, I think one of the grandkids is upset about having to go. So we'll get these kids drawn in here anyways before we say goodbye to everybody. They've got an appointment nearby where our house is in town. So they came to come over and hang out. I'm getting to see them a little bit. There's our little arm coming in here now. Oh, thanks, Linda. I'm just putting that up there. Yeah, Tim is doing drawings through Shark Week, wasn't he, Linda? See all kinds of creativity Tim gets up to. So I might have to extend this panel down just a little bit to incorporate some of these little elements I want to do, like his shorts, and to figure out what kind of footwear this gal wears. Here's her outfit. Oh yeah, he loves Shark Week. Liz says he would go perfect in journals. Nice. Well, I know that one person bought 2 copies. They bought a copy intending to use it for their junk, a bunch of images for their junk journal, and then they got it. I'm not suggesting this is going to be universal. They got it and said, I can't cut this up. I don't want to cut this up. I'm enjoying it too much. So graciously they ordered a second copy to cut up for their junk journal. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Nifty keen. I tend to just... Now I've got binders of where I've fold out books where I put a bunch of original art in them. But I tend not to get too caught up in the drawings after the fact. Once I've done, the book, I just tend to put the drawings in a pile. So, you know, those that bought copies of One Page Extravaganza and sent me a picture of them holding it up, I mailed out a couple little zines, and I cut up a bunch of original art and mailed it with the books. I'm not too precious. I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be taken aback if somebody put it in a junk journal. So here's this little one. And we'll get him running here. So there's the 3 kids. All running about with her as she's trying to defend them from the planet, which is going to blow up. So what I'll do is I'll take that light green. Oh, I didn't give this poor little girl a face. Crazy kids upstairs in here. So there's our little girl there. Okay, so I've got this root color in the background. Like when I say root color, like a foundational color. Flats often is what, and so I'm going to draw yellow explosions going across these, but the very beginning of it is just a flat green in behind them. And sometimes I'll draw it at this stage in a traditional way, or sometimes I'll add it in digitally. But I tend to use both methods, and because I always letter my pages digitally so that people can actually read them instead of my chicken scratch. I don't actually write in chicken scratch. I get a real chicken to scratch for me. So this is, you see the fold in the paper that I'm using, and I'll just leave it in there. I'm not overly worried about that. I just draw the image flat on top. So I'm just doing this background color. Hopefully that'll inform everybody enough of where all the compositional elements are in this image. Before we run out of time, Corbin. So yeah, so Saturday the 14th and Sunday the 15th. 2:30 Saturday the 14th and 2 o'clock Sunday the 15th. Hopefully the streaming will work. I don't know what the data is going to be like at the convention center, but I'm going to try. And yeah. Got all kinds of stuff going on that weekend. And there, flat line. There we go. Okay, so I'll just pull out. We'll see how we are on this page so far. Hey, there we go. So, yeah, okay, so we got our first panel here introducing the challenge. And then we've got our secondary panel, introducing not just the principal characters being challenged, but the additional kids that are incorporated in the suggestion. Wonder Woman, 3 kids, and a nearby exploding planet. So what's left to introduce here would, of course, be the planet, which I'm going to put up here, and then. We'll continue on with our narrative in this way. So basically, it's still following those principles about starting in the top left corner and working its way to the bottom right. I want to control how your eye moves across this way. So the whole shifting of the sword actually will carry, and then the sword should carry you over to here, to the planet. And then what happens texturally across this area should move your eye back down this way to what's going to happen here. Probably, my intention is to draw one of the kids going, "Oh no!" You know, so somebody's going to screen cap that, I just know. There, Chris, looking like a goofball. So, yeah, I think I'll just do it now. Oh no! It'll be her. It'll be her doing it. Little hands on her face. Yeah. Oh no! There you are. So, and then our resolution will be happening around here, but we're also going to have. And my intention is that as I move across here, and so I can do our planet in outer space, this panel, like so, is going to have outer space elements, and that's going to continue on over here like this, in order to unify that whole space. The chalk markers are great in this drawing. Oh, thanks very much, Lynn. That's very nice of you. It's a tricky paper to work on because it's only a paper bag from the grocery store, so it, I can't work too vigorously. I have to let everything dry because it's a very very loquacious chalk paint. It's tricky. You got to let it dry, and that it bonds really well though, so it doesn't smudge too badly. Hold on, where's the camera? There you are. It does smudge though, so you got to be wary. Keep it clean. Is this called comic design and paint? So one of the things, sorry for those that are here regularly, hope you don't mind. So one of the things that I do is I tell, I'm going to move this so I don't smudge it. I tell one-page stories, and I do it from suggestions that people give me, and I do it in whatever I decide I want to work with that day. And or if people say, I want you to, can you draw in ballpoint pen today, I'll do that. And so all of these pages that you see, that's just graphite and a pen. That's digital from a marker drawing, and this is pencil crayon, and the fish are painted, so you can see, and I always show the original art in the books. So this is drawn in a pencil crayon and then colored digitally. This is mixed media. This is pencil crayon and paint. This is white ink on a green piece of cardstock. This starts off as just regular old gray marker, but then I just go crazy with it digitally. So it's all all of these stories are ostensibly they're comic stories, and in different approaches all the time, because I like to change up how I do things and different mediums. This is a collage, jelly plating in there, and this is just pencil crayon. Dukisi God. And so this is just marker. So these are all suggested by, these ideas are suggested by folks, and so I put that there, and then I talk about the mediums and the process. But all of this is comic storytelling, and there's so many different ways that we can utilize it, and so many different approaches and styles that we can incorporate. That's pencil crayon, that's graphite, pencil. This is a brown pen. This is green pencil, then colored digitally. This is mixed media watercolor and pencil crayon. Both the big spy balloon from China. This is colored pens on yellow cardstock. This is just pencil and ink, pencil and a pen. Oh no, I think I drew it in pen. No pencil at all. So I'll try whatever I feel like doing that day, and have fun, with it. It's see, this is another painted one. This is markers. more of what I've shown you. Here is colored pens on a blue piece of cardstock, white pen. So it's all just trying out whatever. This is paint on craft paper, like we're using today, with a red pen. You know, so that's a white pen and blue on light blue cardstock. Yeah, so it's all about just having fun doing whatever. And so you should be able to tell stories in whatever way that you choose to do. There's just a couple of basic principles, like starting on the left, in the upper left corner, and working your way across to the bottom right. And so you have all of this real estate to use, but you want to direct the viewer's eye to follow this path that you snake across the page. And you can do different things. Like this is closed panels, right? They all got borders around them, but we're leading the eye this way for our page. Whereas this one has a lot of jagged panels in here, but the words lead our eye around the page like this. And so there's sneaky, tricky things you can do with the word bubbles to direct where the reader follows your story. So we talk about a lot of that here, and there's some of that stuff is up in the tutorials now on the channel. See, there's not even a panel around this one. This is horses and hearses, drumming up business for the family, and that's drawn in white with black on cardstock. That's white on black cardstock and added with a gray background there. So you just have fun and explore things in whatever little way that you want to do it. And then this is the other part I'll show you, is that when you do jelly plating, and whether or not you have successful transfer of images, I'm really bad at jelly plating. And so I get this wonderful motley assortment of colors. I actually like that more than actual transfers. So I drew these little red pandas on top of this color field and incorporated that as the forest. And so the suggestions: red panda, periwinkle, and marigold. So that's what the other two flowers are. This is on a jelly plated surface. This is on a slap and drag surface, so you see the mottled green in the background is dragged ink. And I showed how to do that on Thursday. This is a pencil drawing with white ink, and then it was colored. About kids stealing giant oranges out of the garden of a Cyclops. It's Bela Lugosi's rock album, down below. This is a ballpoint pen on dark cardstock with a white pencil. There's a collage, magazine collage, Chuck Norris Fashion Action Show. Let's see. We got Universal Families drawn in ballpoint pen on colored paper. I just play around with the backgrounds with digital stuff. So it's all just trying stuff out, folks, and having some fun in the sun. And don't limit yourself in that, thinking that you have to do stories in that regard. Sometimes a story can be something so simple as a static image, where you can have the text read through the space, and then the viewer reads through with their eyes. Not scary. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be a functional page like so, with all of these bright gold and yellow images talking about Midas. You know, you can have something as simple as a couple static images in the text, or you can have fun, different levels of visual application, just simple line art, or a big layered collage, very simplistic basic comic, which is great fun, but then you can get fancy with your fancy image. I struggle trying to get focal points and backgrounds that have layers and layers. Mine get lost, too many competing elements, and not smoothly uniformed or balanced. One of the things I've talked about before, Liz, that might help you is if you sit down and look at your foreground, your middle ground, and your background as your basic constructions, right? And so if you use black, gray, and white and you pick interchangeably which one applies to your foreground, midground, background. Start looking at images and picking out, let's say, Wonder Woman in the foreground. So if we apply her with a black silhouette, and then the kids behind her, you would apply a gray silhouette, and the background's white. And so what that explains to you is a sense of composition, depth, and arrangement of elements in space, where the black one sits, where the gray one sits, in relationship to that on the white background, or any exchange of those three values as you like. And if you do a bunch of those, sometimes that can help specifically with what you're talking about. I hope that helps. Jim says, great to see you, Chris, and everybody. Gotta go. Hey, superstar Jim. Thank you very much for stopping in. Okay, so I'll get the suggestion from Linda done for tomorrow, and have that posted up on Patreon, Instagram, and Facebook. And tomorrow on Patreon, the next read-along comes up. No, tonight on Patreon, the next read-along comes up. And tomorrow on YouTube, you'll see the next one-page story read-along. And I think it's Bella Rocks. I think it's the one-page story we did called Bella Rocks, about Bella Lugosi as a rock and roll star. So, okay, folks, I hope you had fun. Anyways, if you haven't tried these, you can find these chalk markers at inexpensively at like dollar stores or maybe at Walmart. These were, I think, $4 Canadian, which, you know, I always calculate as to be a nickel American. So, yeah, they're not very expensive. Just the only thing to be actively aware of is smudging. So that's about that. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out. I've had a great time with you, and Corbin has too. He's now decided to get some rest over here, just chilling like a villain, and we'll be back on Thursday at 2:00. If there's anything that anybody has any requests for about Thursday, if there's anything specific you want me to talk about, in putting together a page or a story, let me know. Just send me something in the comments for this video after it's posted, and yeah, we'll do what we can. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you Thursday. Bye for now.